Okay, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something that a lot of people find kind of confusing,
Yeah.
value added tax, VAT.
Yeah.
We want to try to explain this.
It's a good one.
Yeah, in a way that like even a 10-year-old would understand. And yeah, even if you don't have to explain it to a 10-year-old, it can be really helpful just to like
Yeah,
understand it for yourself.
for sure.
So where do we even begin with VAT? Like when I first heard about it, I was like, what is this?
Right. I think the best way to explain something that can be a little bit complicated is to use an analogy.
Okay,
So let's imagine we're building a bicycle.
right.
So you need all these different parts, right? You have the metal for the frame and the rubber for the tires and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And each step of the way from getting those raw materials to the finished bike, someone is adding value.
Okay.
So let's say you have the miners who dug up the ore for the metal.
Right.
They're adding value because now that ore is out of the ground and it can be used to make something. Then you have the factory that turns that ore into metal. They're adding even more value.
Gotcha.
And so on down the line to the people who put the bike together,
Yeah.
VAT is basically a tax on that added value at each stage of the process.
Oh, okay. So every time someone does something to this bike to
Which-
like move it along the process
Yeah.
to get closer to like
Exactly.
a finished bicycle, they have to pay a little bit of tax.
Yeah, it's like a small percentage of the value they added.
Okay, but wouldn't that make the bike like ridiculously expensive by the time it gets to the store?
That's a great question, and that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
So yes, a little bit of tax is added at each step, but it's
Yeah.
not like the price just keeps going up and up and up.
Okay.
Ultimately, the person who buys the bike, the final consumer, ends up paying the full VAT.
Okay.
But it's been collected in little bits along the way.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like, think of it like a relay race,
Okay.
where each runner carries the baton for a little while and then passes it on to the next runner. In this case, the baton is the VAT, and the final runner is the customer at the bike shop.
Got it. So it's kind of like a way of spreading out the tax burden.
Yeah, exactly. And it has some benefits.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, it can help prevent tax evasion.
Really? How so?
Well, if you only taxed the final sale, it would be easier for businesses to try to hide some of their earnings
Right.
and avoid paying the full amount of tax.
Oh, I see. So by collecting the tax little by little along the way,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it harder to cheat the system.
Yeah, exactly. You're making it much harder to hide things because there are all these checkpoints along the way.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty common system around the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, over 170 countries use VAT as a way to fund their governments.
Wow. I had no idea.
It's a big deal. It's one of the main ways that governments pay for things like roads and schools and healthcare.
So basically, when I buy something and there's VAT added to the price,
Yeah,
I'm kind of like contributing to those public services.
exactly. It's like a small contribution to the greater good.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that different things can have different VAT rates.
Like how so?
Well, for example, things that are considered essential, like food or medicine,
Okay.
often have a lower VAT rate, or they might even be exempt from VAT altogether.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, the idea is to make those essential things more affordable for everyone.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
it sounds like there's a lot of thought that goes into like setting the VAT rates.
Oh, absolutely. It's a constant balancing act.
Yeah.
Governments want to raise enough money to fund all the things they need to do, but they also don't want to make things so expensive that people can't afford them.
Right. There has to be that sweet spot.
Exactly. And that's part of what makes V8 such a complex and interesting topic.
Yeah. It definitely makes you think about like all the hidden costs behind everything we buy.
It really does.
Okay.
It's like a whole other layer of the economy that most people don't even realize is there.
It really is. And it's something that's happening all over the world too.
Yeah, I mean, think about it the next time you're at the checkout and you're looking at your receipt.
Yeah.
You might even see the VAT amount listed separately.
Oh, that's true.
It's a little reminder of this global system that's working behind the scenes.
And that we all contribute to every time we buy something.
Exactly. It's like a hidden language of economics that's all around us.
Yeah. So next time you're looking at a price tag, think about all those little bits of value that were added along the way
Yeah.
and all the people who contributed to getting that product into your hands.
And how much of that price is going back to support your community and your country?
It's like a whole new way of looking at shopping.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating when you start to think about it.
It really is. So much more to it than meets the eye.
Right. Like a secret code we've just cracked.
Exactly.
VAT decoded.
VAT decoded. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a really interesting deep dive.
Yeah, I hope everyone listening feels a little smarter about VAT now.
I know. I definitely feel like I can explain this to someone now and sound like I know what I'm talking about.
That's the goal.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into VAT, and we'll catch you next time for another fascinating topic.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.